good. All right. Hey, it's me. It's time. It's late. What am I doing? I'm drawing. Um, it's late. I can't sleep. So I thought, man, what do I do when I can't sleep? I sketch. I draw. I work on something. Um, I'm not done unwinding from the last Kickstarter. It was a marathon of a thing, man, and I felt like every day I was doing stuff for the Kickstarter and promoting the Kickstarter and creating art for the Kickstarter and graphics for the Kickstarter. And at the same time, I was doing some freelance jobs um, because that's what I do. And I haven't, in a couple of weeks, done anything for no reason. I've been doing some drawings and some sketch covers and pieces for the video and videos for the Kickstarter, but like I just want to relax. And so I'm going to try that right now. You don't need to see me too much. You're just going to watch me draw, maybe. What am I going to draw? I'm not sure yet. I got a couple of ideas, but we're going to see where this goes. So, uh, with no further ado, let's see what kind of craziness Ken comes up with. I've been thinking about the Kickstarter for Hatched, and Hatched was a great, fun ride for me, and it was really an experiment in a new idea for maybe how to run a fundraiser and what test out some things that see what works and what doesn't, as far as pushing myself and promoting my work in different ways. And what's crazy is that now that it's over, and you'd think I would relax, but I don't. I all I can think of now is what's next. And so what's on my mind tonight, here at 3 a.m, is the next book. The book that I've been hinting about for a while now is the project that I'm writing. So bear with me because um, I'm going to self-deprecate a whole bunch here because I'm just not a writer, and I refuse to call myself a writer. And I don't know if that's just me trying to be humble or I'm trying really hard not to be cocky. I respect very much that are good at their craft and work at their craft and try hard to be good writers. I respect that so much that I don't feel like I have the right to just step in and say, "Oh yeah, I got a story. I can write too." The same way that I don't think anybody that can just pick up a pen can just be an inker or be a colorist. I mean, it's fair enough to say you can be an artist and not necessarily be as good as anybody else. But I do feel that there's a level of, if you're going to be a professional, if you're going to call yourself a pro at something, you need to at least put in the effort. There are a lot of people that don't, and it's frustrating because there's a lot of people that do and still just don't get a break. So with my new guy, my new character for the book coming up called the Elder, I don't know. I struggle with how much to give away because it's got some, what I hope are some fun twists. But also, I'm going to have to start actually talking about the meat of the book someday. I think I'll start with the character himself, and that's who I'm drawing right now, the Elder. His real name at this moment is not important. We're calling him the Elder. He's the elder brother, um, outcast of the family. Trying hard not to give him too much of a mullet, but he's got a particularly big head of curly hair. In this picture, you'll see though it's going to be, there's rain going on, I think. So I'm gonna have some lines here, some jagged lines. I'm drawing this in blue because if it turns out halfway decent, I'm sure I want to ink it. And if I choose to ink it practically, which means in with actual pen, paper, or pencil, or like ink on the art. I'll need the blue to disappear, which I can do if I scan it in black and white at a high resolution. So I've drawn the Elder a couple of other times. He appears in the short story Double-Edged Miracle. Again, he's the main character of the book. He's sort of a loner, sad character. He's immortal, so he's he's been around long enough to know that if he gets attached to anybody on this planet, and eventually they die, and he doesn't, so they go away. I'm gonna change this. I based his coat on a coat that my friend Lisa made years ago, and the lapels are very straight. Um, Whereas a lot of normal lapels will have a little jagged thing in there, like a suit coat. But this particularly long jacket that our elder has is just got straight lapels. The story, and I have like 14 beginnings. It's it's one of these stories that I've been kicking around for so long that every time I get an idea, I jot it down or I put it in the computer. And I have not until recently started to sit down and actually flesh it out and try and make it into a real script. It's been a collection of starts and stops and notes and scribbles and sketches. But ultimately, it's really a big exploration of humanity, of the purpose of why we're here. I gotta watch it. Be very careful because the elder is not a muscular guy, and I'm drawing the shit. I'm drawing this at an angle again. Another thing I talk about, it's weird when I do these videos because I'm drawing at an angle, I'm looking upward at it, so the perspective can be off. So I need to really look at it from up here, put my head where the camera is, so that I don't draw it distorted. A lot of people do that in the beginning, and I did too. Where if you draw it at an angle like this, it looks normal to you, but when you flatten it out, the arms are too long, the noses are too long, the face is too long, and that doesn't create a good look for anybody. So I'm gonna shorten these arms up a little bit. I never wanted. I don't want him to be. He doesn't look like a superhero. In fact, he's a regular guy. Matter of fact, I based him originally on David Krumholtz, and you can look him up. I came up with it while I was watching the show Numbers, and that's a deep cut from a long time ago. Look him up. Go ahead. Um, because I thought the shape of his nose and the weird jaggedness and unkemptness of his curly hair would fit my character's look. I didn't really want him to look like Bruce Wayne or Clark Kent or any normal well kept superhero. But neither is he rough and bearded and jagged either. He's just a guy. You're trying to be anyway, just a guy for being totally immortal. Um, so the elder's seen some shit, in his thousands of years. He is roughly as old as man. So he will have seen it all. And one thing I did, an early draft had a very Forrest Gump kind of thing going on, where I had him roaming throughout history, um, running into historical figures and stuff. But I've since felt like that might just be a bit too on the nose. And done. It's difficult to come up with some ideas to tell your story that haven't been done before, but I'm trying because ultimately I see this as a 12 issue miniseries. I'm hoping I can get 12 fairly decent stories out of it. I have I have an idea of where it starts and where it ends, but in order to get there, I've got to. It's almost I need it to be serialized so that it's a slow burn. It takes its time getting to the point. And so in between, I have these story ideas where the elder meets people and goes along and ends up doing some good deeds and things along the way. Let's see if I can get Fist in there. He's got this duffel bag. You see, it's really funny to me when I first drew him. I based his duffel bag on the duffel bag that I had. That was mine, and I lost. I mean, because it's been going on for so many years, I didn't have that bag anymore. And literally 2 nights ago, cleaning out some stuff in my basement, I found that exact duffel bag, and I'm really happy about it because it just reminded me of one of the characteristics. See, he keeps everything he needs in this duffel bag. It's sort of his go bag. Like I've got him living a modest life, and he'll have a crummy apartment and stuff, but he is able to drop everything at moment's notice and goes because he's got everything he might need as far as personal effects, belongings, and a few keepsakes in this duffel bag. And that's really his thing. He's just learned from over the years. Sometimes stuff happens and you just got to go. So he's nomadic, but he does also have connections. He's got friends. He's got two main characters who are his best friends and have been for at least for their lifetimes, Walker and Sonny. And I dare you, if you know me, to put a comment in the comment section and tell me who you think those characters are based on because they are based on real people in my life. Not that the Elder is based on me in any way, but um, there's two things I've always read about writing, and I believe are good and true. And one is write what you know, and the other is that all characters that you write are you, some version of you. So this character is going to be me. I'm going to put myself in his shoes, and it's going to be like, okay, so if I were this guy, what would I say? What would I do? And that's how I approach the dialogue and the actions. Elder here is going to be sort of quiet and reclusive, and he really wants to just he wants to be alone, but he can't. He can't bring himself to stay out of life and stay out of things. Yeah, he cares a little too much. He runs into in the double-edged miracle. He makes the mistake of running into Mitch, our wacky guy, based in name but not in looks on the my favorite comedian, Mitch Hedberg. So as I come down to the bottom here, I have strictly run out of room for feet and legs, but that's okay because that's not really the focus of this picture. So I think I am gonna have to have rain coming down. I love to show rain kind of bouncing off. Gotta be careful not to make that look like bullets. It also means giving some lines in front of him so that you can see that there's a there's depth to it. There's snow, rain in the foreground, rain in the middle ground, rain behind him. So you'd have lines that go behind him like this, behind the hair. I like doing rain because it also doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I don't know if you can see, but some of these are going a little bit this way, a little bit that way. If you ever look at rain in reality, it's not always totally parallel to itself. It's coming down. It's all kind of going the same way. but it doesn't have to be perfectly the same way. In fact, it looks askew if it is going all the same way. So I think when I ink this, I'll do some very, very, very light um, pencils and have them just kind of going haywire. And then I put little drops of rain here. Sometimes I throw a drop or two places where I don't have lines. Just want to make it look a little random. It might even end up looking like hail. And that might be fine for this because it's just he's out in the weather. He doesn't pay much attention to needing like umbrella or anything like that. I have a secondary title for this book, and I'm probably gonna have to put it out there and see because as much as my guy here is called the Elder, I also thought of titling it "Weight of the World," and that's weight WAIT, not WAIGHT. So not as in weight, like the measurement of pounds and ounces, but weight as in patience and time. So I'm going with a light source kind of from the front right here toward him, his left. And so I want to shade. I'm going to leave some room here for the rain lines. I mean, and I don't know if I do want to ink this. I'm going to try and make it kind of rough and sketchy. Now his jacket is dark, so I need to give it some sketchy shadows here. So yeah, anyway, one of the things about this character is that he um, wanted to call it weight of the world because he's waiting for something. He's got a he does have a purpose here, and he's waiting for it to be finished. He's waiting for it to be fulfilled. He's in a way he's sort of waiting for the right time for his time on Earth to be over. He does not have to stay here forever, but he chooses to. And he's not a rebellious bad guy. Like while he's here, he's going to do good, but at the same time, he has to balance that with his need to keep sane because he's human. He's immortal and he's got abilities, but he's also a human. He's just also more than that. But so like he can hear things. He can hear thoughts. He can sense danger. He can to some extent he can see the future and he sees what's coming, but he also can judge because of that. He has understanding, this cosmic grasp of like what's coming and what it means. So if he sees danger, he may not choose to help. He may not choose to avoid it because it's something that like has to happen. Maybe there's a greater purpose or a bigger reason. We're going to explore some of that, some of the morality of if you know something bad is going to happen, do you stop it? Should you stop it? And when should you and why should you? It's really important to me that this be the kind of stories that ask questions. Like every issue is going to be a what would you do kind of thing. And you may not always agree with Elder and his choices, and sometimes you will. Like I said, he's got a moral compass, but his moral compass may not match up with yours or mine. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, man, I've seen this story before. I've heard this story before. Um, and you maybe have. There's an element of like Highlander kind of thing to it. Some guy that lives for a very long time and doesn't like to put down roots because he knows that he's going to lose everyone he ever loved. I'm being very cagey and very dodgy here, trying not to give away all of the um, story plots in the book just yet because I haven't decided yet what my pitch is going to be, and I want to give away just enough to make the book to tease the book, but I also want like if you've heard my pitches, once you read the book, I'd like for you to have some surprises. So um, I have a feeling that my my first issue, I'm really wanting to end on a big reveal for the second issue. I have a surprise character popping up on the last page, and that sort of once that's established, then the secret's out. And I feel like I want to make sure that I preserve some kind of surprise and entertainment for the reader. Hence, anyway, I'm talking about this character and I'm barely giving anything about him. But um, I said, I'm not a writer. I'm not a smart enough guy to know what to give away and what to keep to myself. So right now I'm just working on the picture side of it. So here we are. Some of this. I'm gonna do just some hatching on the pant legs. I like to do cross hatching on fabric to show that it's got a different texture, like jeans. I like to give them a little bit of hatching so that it looks like um, woven fabric. Something I don't do on skin, for example. In the same way, and I started doing this after some really amazing action figures came out in the '90s, late '90s. The Incredible Hulk action figures, especially, came out with some really great texturing on the pants um, that I'd never seen before, and it made this this crosshatch back and forth um, embossed printing on the plastic made you feel like, okay, these are pants and this is cloth, whereas his skin was a whole rough or different texture, and I like that. I like that. So I think about that when I'm drawing. I think about everything while I'm drawing as if it were real. I really try to put my head into. I'm not going for realism exactly. I'm not looking for photorealism. Like this doesn't look like an actual person. I know it looks like a drawing of a person, but in my mind, I'm building it in layers, and I'm thinking about what's this got, and this has lines here for the shirt. And oh shoot, Elder has a necklace. Almost forgot. This guy's got a low necklace. I'm going to just leave that there. I'm not going to go into any details on the circle, what's inside that. We'll see that later when you see the book. So this is a book I'm working on now. I've been working on for years, and I'm just finally getting to polishing it and forming it into a real cohesive issue, number one. Um, with any luck, it's going to be my my next big thing, and it'll be the next Kickstarter for issue one. And if I make that, which I'm hoping that I can, because I just ran 3 successful Kickstarters, and I've basically proved the concept that if I work the angles just right, I should be able to make these comics self-sustaining. And if that's possible, then I'm going to make the Elder books 1 through 12 starting next year, and we should be able to ready to launch this project in January. Well, whether the book's completely finished or not, I don't know. I'm hoping to do an early 2022 release for launch for the Kickstarter. Because what I can do is, I don't mind launching a project that's not completely done. My first 2 books were completely done when I launched. My last book, my new book, Hatched, isn't 100% finished, but I launched the project to see if I could even get it done. Because, I mean, there was like no reason to finish the book if I wasn't going to be able to print it. So I had enough of it done to run a good campaign, and I did, and it worked. So for me, that's what I'm going to do with this one. All right. This is just it. This is kind of fun. I'm gonna sign this and let this go. We're gonna call this Elder 2. It's not that far apart from the first picture I've ever did of the Elder, and you can find that somewhere else. Uh, Top this guy off. All right. All right. That was fun. Thanks for joining me. Follow the channel for more pictures. Hit me up at kenscomics.net. I'm working on revamping that website, putting up some new downloads, some original images, some new sketches, regular updates, and links to where you can download PDFs of all of my comics that I have available. And please sign up for my mailing list so that you can get all the updates. Never spam, always can. Thank you for your time. Let me shut this down. Let's do this because I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that anybody at all pays attention to my stuff. I know it's a crazy world we live in. I think we just got to do something nice for somebody every now and then when we can.